Good evening. I'm expecting a few more friends to join us here, and they're coming in just a little bit of a at a time. Here we go, getting up to our potential here. Welcome, everybody. My name is Ian Blackburn. It's 7 o'clock. It's time to zoom into wine, and we've got some really fun wines for us to try tonight. In fact, the entire night is just about having fun with wine and a different type of topic. Uh, I wanted to do it just a little differently tonight, have some fun. It kind of takes me back to the days of the pandemic when we would partner with a restaurant. Restaurants were closed. They would love the business. So we were organizing drivers to go to the restaurant and deliver food and to do Zooms with a wine dinner type of concept. Almost an impossibility at this moment, but we'll see what the future brings. But tonight we're going to be talking about wine and pizza. I hope everybody can see the screen. Can you see the slideshow? I feel like you're looking at something else. Let me make sure we got the slideshow for you. There you go. And there's a lot of wines that when you buy for the store, you kind of default to like, wow, that would be just a really fun wine for pizza. So I pulled together a nice little collection of things. And I absolutely always look for an excuse to eat pizza. So I've been able to get a really nice, beautiful little pizza pie. And I hope you guys did as well. I'm going to show off my pizza. If you guys have your pizza handy and you want to do a little show and tell, here's let's see if I can share. Is it going to go there? Let me see where it went. There it is. I got to give them a little bit of love. So my warehouse is just in East LA, which is great for rent, great for our warehouse, and nowhere near a lot of the hip, well-known LA restaurants. So we have to go out and get creative. And I want to tell you, if every neighborhood had an Italian restaurant like this, you would really enjoy it. They do just a fantastic job with their product. I eat there often. It's off of Garfield, off the 60 freeway. There's a fantastic little golf place down the street, one of those, party while you hit golf ball type of places off the driving range. And then Ravello's is right down the street. So now I'm going to show you my pizza pie. I got, first of all, everything that they do is just really done their way. This is their own crust. This is a Sicilian, and it's got ricotta cheese and some onions, some special sausage, and clams with tomato sauce. I've actually never had this pizza before. I've eaten their pizza many times, but not this pizza. Just sounded kind of good. So I'll let you know how that is in just a moment. But let's get some wine going on. And anybody got a pizza you want to show off?
Sure, I'll show off.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, I don't know. Wait,
I got you.
how do you do this? Wait, there
All
is it
right.
is it getting there kind of
Yeah, I can see it. Can everybody else see it?
I don't
Looks good.
Yeah, I made the crust.
Oh,
Wow.
It's tomatoes and jalapenos from my garden and ricotta mozzarella. And let's see, some black olives, a little Parmesan Reggiano, and some Canadian bacon.
I love it. Nice. You get A plus. Fantastic. Anyone else? All right. Well, we will get started on our topicality. If somebody has pizza get delivered and wants to share, you let us know. Let's get into the wines. And I'll talk about my pizza throughout the night. You guys can just talk about what you are feeling about these wines. and we always appreciate chats as well. Okay, very cool. Yeah, if you make it out to that restaurant, let me know. It's 5 minutes from my warehouse, and it's kind of a nice little place to go to avoid traffic too. All right, so wine number one, of course, Italian wines. We've got a couple of them tonight, but like I always tell people, I would much rather have a tasting of several different wines than a couple of glasses of the same wine. So tonight is kind of a fun exploration of the space, and one of my all-time favorite varieties from Italy. Whenever I go to Italy, and I often do, and I especially go to Piedmont. In fact, we have announced our 2027 trip to Piedmont, and I think it was last time or 2 times ago, we went to Franco Conterno. This is one of the famous Conternos. This is the son of the of a famous Conterno, and then his son is taking the reins. So it's a multi-generational story. Um, and whenever I go to one of the little restaurants on the trip to Barolo, we stay in La Mora. We walk up the hill. There's this great little cafe. Lisa, I think you went there with us, and we would look at the wine list, and they have just a really good cellar of top names, and they get Barberas from the top guys that don't even make that Barbera doesn't even make it to the United States. And so, sometimes we want to roll and throw $150 at a Barolo, but a Barbera is just such an enjoyable little bottle of wine with a casual meal. And we got a group of 7, 10, 12 people. We can drink 10 different Barberas and just have a lot of fun and keep the bill really light. And so, if you've never had Barbera before, we're up in Piedmont, northern Italy. Barbera either comes from Asti or from Alba. And when you look inside the map, you'll see a lot of different subzones. There's Barolo and Barbaresco, Asti. There's Nizza is a really high tier area as well. So there's definitely some evolution going on in the Barbera market, and you can really start to see Barbera break upwards, especially as Barolos are moving north in price. So there are Barberas that fight to be very inexpensive. They, 12, 15, $16. I've got one of those, and it's pretty damn decent. This was a slightly elevated because this comes from Franco Conterno and his son Daniele. And in fact, this is Franco's label, but Daniele's the young upstart, and his father kind of leans on him to do 90% of the work. Franco comes and approves, and that's the process. And this is their family's property up on top of a hill, beautiful property. When we were there, this tree down here at the bottom was just magnificent, filled with all kinds of fruit. And we took a great picture there, me and my mommy. And it was great to be able to go there and see it in its grandeur. It's just a really humble, hardworking property. The Quintero family's definitely got some cachet, and this family, this branch of the family, is on the little more hardworking side. There's another look at the property from a better angle where you see, when you're driving around the Barolo zones, you'll see hillsides, no fruit because they don't have the right exposition. And then all of a sudden, there's this spot where everybody's planted everything because it's the top exposition. But what we're tasting here is Barbera, and Barbera is often planted where it kind of suffers a little bit of ill fate because the very best vineyards in Barolo are definitely going to get planted to Nebbiolo. And then vineyards that kind of are maybe not great for Barolo end up getting planted with Barbera because Barbera has like really good potential up to about here, and nobody's going to be willing to pay $100 for a Barbera. So it kind of ends up being the sacrificial lamb, if you will, a little bit, but it's also kind of the hardest working little grape variety. And you can grow some really good Barbera in dirt that doesn't do very well for Nebbiolo. So there are a couple of examples in the wine world where they do actually plant Barbera in Nebbiolo dirt and they make you pay for it. And I've got some of those too. But here's a look at Barbera. Barbera is actually a really delicious table grape as well. And we do grow this grape variety in California. And there's some really fun California Barberas. My friend Steve Clifton makes one in Santa Barbara, and we have it on the website also. Problem with Santa Barbara Barbera is that he has to work really hard to keep it under 40 bucks. And it is great. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But that's just the economic math. And for 40 bucks, it's damn good wine. But when you're competing with Piedmont and what they can do with this wine and the price points that they can make this wine at, it's pretty difficult. So, there's a picture of Franco Conterno. These wines are not generally, first of all, it's a pretty small producer, so not a lot of international distribution, only brought into the United States and into California, so it doesn't get a lot of critical assessment. So I gave the wines a review. This wine I bought heavy on a pre-sale coming in, knowing that I was also going to be visiting the property. I wanted them to know I was throwing a pretty good size order, so I bought a bunch of it. I love to see Barbera get a little bit of age on it too. So we're really tasting this in a wonderful spot. I gave it 92 points, really picking up on, uh, let's see here, polished and rich. It is quality Barbera for the buck. Really one of my favorite values to recommend. Color 14 and a half, aroma 22 and a half, body 22, and overall 31. That's 92 points. So lush and green. Some of the greatest sunsets in the world take place right here. 1995. Let me get some in the glass. Really pretty nose. They describe Barolo with tar and roses, and Barbera's got a little bit more fruit forwardness here. Lots of red and black fruits, plum skin, always a lot of spice. Getting a lot of like clove and brown spice, maybe even cinnamon. Nice mouthfeel, really generous, great acidity. Mm. I hope your sample is tasting as good as mine. Thank you, Thomas. Barbera is a fantastic pizza wine. That's how I like to get started. And I'm going to go in now and grab a piece of my pizza, which I should have planned it to walk in like right as we were starting, but it's been here about 40 minutes, so it's already a little cool. Hope you see my pie. There's so many different types of pizza. I love a good amount of sauce. I love a really good crust. By the way, that's why you go to this place. The crust is awesome. And by the way, there's about an hour wait to eat here at this pizza place. Always a good sign. And their portions are huge, and their prices are, let's just say, outside of LA, softer. Uh, they have a big grill. They do some great steaks. I think it's the least expensive, best quality, gigantic portion steak in LA. And there's a reason why it's packed. It's super cash, like Dodger hats everywhere. Be careful, Lisa. All right, so the 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 plus here is up. We've got some great Barbera to go with the pizza, and I'm actually really digging the pizza. The clam actually has a really nice little texture. There's some really good sausage in here. I love onions and cheese and stuff like that, and the different cheeses that they've got here. It's probably 4 or 5 different cheeses. I could do that the whole night. I could have just sent out one bottle. Surprise! This is the pizza wine. That would have been funny for a second, maybe. All right, next, let's go into wine number two. Okay, I often put it this way. I have a bit of a Beaujolais problem in the store because, oh God, I love Beaujolais. And I buy magnums of Beaujolais for myself. Stocking magnum, shipping magnums is a bit was maybe a little bit out of touch. I think we're going to start doing it. We're going to start buying some mags and doing more magnum shipping. When I go out for a dinner party, party of four, you want to bring a magnum. 4 people, that's a little bit like just light of 2 big glasses each. Okay. And nothing goes with everything as well as Beaujolais. And quality for price, this smashes it. It's right up there with Barbera. It's going to give it a big run. I might have picked one that's just a little bit too much because this is a brand that's in it to win it called Domaine Anita. Everything they're making is getting the biggest scores ever in Beaujolais. Now, what we've got here tonight is Moulin Avant, very old vines, La Caves. So it's one of the 10 villages in Beaujolais. And Moulin Avant, the windmill. Been there many times. I will be going back 100 more, God willing. And it is like the place in France where you can still get a great meal for a really great price and drink some great wine for a really great price. And they probably have, 20-year-old versions. People don't get how, Beaujolais can really age well when it's from a great village. Not the Beaujolais Nouveau, not the Beaujolais Village, not even a regular Beaujolais. Beaujolais comes from here, the flatland. Beaujolais villages, there are 10. They can blend them together and make a Beaujolais Village wine. There's also area that's just called Village level. And then there's the actual crus. And so the 10 crus are what we're looking at here. And so there's different quality levels, and the crus are what age like titans. Now, this has got a female winemaker. Her name is Anita. It hasn't been around forever. 2015. There's been a lot of innovation in Beaujolais, and this brand is at one. If I got a person who says they love Beaujolais, I'll ask them right out. Do you know Domaine Anita? Because a lot of people don't. It's still building its reputation, but it's been one of the top scoring Beaujolais last couple of years in a row. I've got the 99 pointer on the website also, but only a couple bottles. But that's all they would allow me to buy of that one. But this one I got a big chunk of. It's 100% Gamay, and it's growing in this really crazy striated soils with a lot of granite and nickel. And the reason that they don't grow Pinot in these soils, because it's right at the southern end of Beaujolais, is they outlawed growing Pinot in the metal heavy soils. Dukes of Burgundy just wouldn't have it. They knew it would be a problem for Pinot Noir. They didn't want to blow Pinot Noir up. And so a lot of Burgundy producers, though, being right there, they couldn't buy any more land in Burgundy, but Beaujolais still had some value, and it allowed them to, make their $100 bottles of Premier Cru from the Côte d'Or, and then have something with some real value coming out of Beaujolais. And so there are just Beaujolais producers too. Domaine Anita doesn't make Burgundy; all they make is Beaujolais. And again, they're in it to win it. They're just a top little family that's doing it. And I just love Gamay. It's a beautiful vine. The vines are grown very close to the ground. They're really very proud of what they're producing, as they should be. There's just you need to ambassadorize yourself and teach people about the better wines of Beaujolais and their potential. And you can do that with a wine like this. Take a look at that beautiful color. This is James Suckling's review. Fine grain texture on the medium bodied palate makes you feel like you're licking the granite soil of the site. I love the delicate, spicy aromas and touch of red roses. There's a dramatic mineral freshness in the empathetically dry finish, fermented with a good proportion of whole cluster. So again, complexity coming from really good winemaking, whole cluster, then matured 2/3 in concrete tank and 1/3 in Burgundian barrels. Beaujolais is beautiful. It's a little bit off the beaten path. Got little teeny towns and some really good restaurants. Um, if you're going there, let me know. I'll share my restaurant list with you. Domaine Anita, 36.95 for a 96 point wine. Let's explore. There we go. Mm, thin, dilute Beaujolais has a little bit of a cranberry and banana kind of a nose sometimes. Usually from what they would do to the fruit is they would take the fruit and put it into a stainless steel tank and shut the lid, and they create almost a pressurized fermentation to really give a lot of lift to the fruit and stuff. That's not happening here. That's called carbonic maceration. There is going to be a touch of it because it's whole cluster, a touch of that happening, but this is not a pressurized winemaking process. You can smell a little bit of that rock, that maybe even some like wrought iron type of features. I've heard things like gunmetal. That is a big mouthful of wine. Tart, but dense. The tannins are really I wouldn't say velvety soft. They're still there. There's a lot of acidity, but there's some real character to this wine here. I want to see how it does with pizza. I love your comments. Tom, what are you thinking of the Beaujolais?
Well, I love Beaujolais. I like it a lot. I would say it strikes me as being age worthy. I'm not sure how you feel about that, but it's very long finish to the wine, which is impressive as well. Not quite as much fruit as some I've had, which is fine. I think um, that's a valid expression. It's a very good wine. It's excellent wine. Um, like it a lot. But I think it is not as good a match with pizza as the Barbera, own opinion. I've had Beaujolais with wonderful steaks and so on and so forth in Paris and so on. And this was just holds up a little bit more to meat than it does pizza. That's my 2 cents.
Very good. Yeah, the one of the greatest dishes I ever had in my life is a restaurant called Le Cep in the town of Fleury.
Oh,
It's
nice.
a Michelin recommended restaurant, pretty fancy. Um, and they made duck with a red wine sauce and uh,
Beautiful.
Beaujolais.
Yeah.
Crazy good. I would definitely describe this wine as youthful and bold, and I think a softer, more aged Beaujolais would be a better match with my pizza. Um, but this wine is dynamic, it's delicious, and super fun. I go to the Hollywood Bowl a lot, and again, magnums of champagne or magnums of Beaujolais are my two favorite things to take out to dinner, and it just ends up going very, very well with everything. My pizza has a little bit of a spice to it. It's got, did I say it was from Sicily, my pizza? I think it's the Calabrian pizza. That's what I think. That's what I was hoping I would say. And there are some chili flakes on there, and I can start to feel some of the spice coming through. And Calabrian chili. This thing's got like 75 ingredients on it. I can't even read them all off, but it is a really complex little pizza. Delicious as always. And my so far, loving the wines that we've poured so far. These are absolutely two of my go-to wines for people looking for good value. And we're going to continue now with wine number three. Tom, everything's good with your new house?
Indeed. It's been a journey. Picking up a house that you've been in for 12 years and moving 500 miles south is not the easiest task, but we love it here in Carlsbad. I was actually a little embarrassed to show my pizza. It's a good pizza. It's not like at the quality of what you guys have, I don't think. I got to find a place here that has that, but it's a beautiful place here. We love it.
Cool. Well, what I love about Carlsbad is that the people down there are typically pretty chill.
Very chill.
Got fantastic cool weather. It's going to be 30 degrees cooler there than it is up here right now, probably. And I'm sure the pizza places and everything will start to materialize over time.
I need to find a few. Yeah. I'm wearing my obligatory Carlsbad shorts and a t-shirt. The
Right?
only thing I'm missing is a Padres hat. Sorry. But it's pretty interesting. We went out for Taco Tuesday last night. We're trying to make that a tradition as well. Of course, I still have to work. That's the downside. But
Overrated.
overrated, yeah. Yeah, what you do is not really work, right, Ian?
That's what they tell me.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're moving into wine number three, Jimenez Landi. This is a really cool little producer from Spain. So we're in Italy, France, now Spain, and we're in a really this is a producer to take note of. I carry a couple different blended wines from them. They're in a place a little less traveled, right outside of Madrid, in La Mancha. There's a place called Mentrida. 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 That's good. Mentrida. Sandra, if you want to correct me, you can do that. I didn't hear you, so I'll give you a shot there. Mentrida is what I'm saying for now. I'm on wine number 3.
Wine number 5. You're on wine number 5 right now.
No, wine number 3.
No,
Oh.
you did know?
Maybe you're looking at what was on the website long ago. And when I pour them on Monday, I reorganize them based on their flavor profiles. So when we send out the Zoom link, we give you your organized order.
Okay.
Number 3 is definitely the Jimenez Lande.
Okay.
And this is a look at their Shay. Goes back to the 1600s. There's been a kind of a long stand of organic and natural path winemaking here. They were using concrete amphoras back in the 1600s at this place to make wine, clay vats. And so this property has always had that behind it. You've got an amazing land here where the vines have got great vine age. Again, the ethos here super. I'm not sure if they're certified biodynamic, but I believe they practice just the most sustainable and regenerative type of activities. Just gonna look at the back label and see if they've actually paid anybody for any of that. No. And when you pay to have it, you can put the mark on the back of the bottle. They're not doing that. This is 70% Grenache or Garnacha and 30% Syrah. Garnacha is going to have kind of a nice earth, spice. I always talk about the smell of tomato leaf as being something with Grenache. Syrah can pick up some spice, some black pepper, some smoky meat. I think these type of wines, whether they're Côtes du Rhônes from France or this type of Spanish value blend, and this value is not meant to be mistaken. This is a better producer, and these wines are really highly thought of by the wine trade. Oh, the nose is so delicious. It's got a lot of savory, olive, again, that tomato leaf, very subtle, not trying to be hyper ripe. Alcohol, I wouldn't say it's restrained, but 14, it says 14 on the back. That mouth is off the charts. It's got some really nice character, great coming together of the two grape varieties. Um, Suckling gave this 93 points. See what they say. Dried herbs, white pepper, red cherries, cranberries, blue flowers. Don't be fooled by the relatively light and transparent color. There's plenty of firm tannins on the palate, giving it a structured, full-bodied mouthfeel, a little austere but racy too. There's the abundance of land and the old vines. $30. Just a really cool little bottle of wine. This is type of stuff that you'd go to a top little Michelin restaurant that would want to pull out something truly authentic, not mass market, small productions. Maybe there's a couple hundred cases imported to America. I'm smelling things like fennel, and I think there's some fennel in my pizza. I'm getting some really interesting herbs. That olive, I think it's going to be really, really good here, but we're going to have to check. My pizza is so good. You can even see like all the different herbs and spices kind of speck throughout. A little bit of heat, a little bit of spice. Kind of comes at it with a little bit of a more forward, fruit rich, not quite the zip and zing of our Italian friends, but I think it's a really good pairing for my pizza. And I think it's a really good fun wine, burgers, uh, beef bourguignon. It kind of plays like a Rhone wine, almost more than you may even think of classic Spain because of the wonderful balance here between the Grenache and the Syrah. And who is really else doing that? You got a lot of old vine Grenache, but Syrah isn't always involved in Spain, so really kind of cool and different. What'd you think? Did you enjoy that wine, guys? I really do. I love that. Hey, by the way, next week we've got the Rioja Zoom, um, which we put some really nice wines in. Rioja is celebrating their 100th anniversary as a DO. I talked to them. I do a Rioja Zoom anyway, but they said if you could push it out to September, we'll throw a little marketing budget your way. And so I was able to bring the price down, but I promised them a pretty large crowd. So I needed to get that thing down under 30 bucks. We're going to have 20, maybe 36 people on the Zoom for next week. So check out the audience is going to be quite robust, and the wines are awesome, and really we'll cover a lot of ground, do a lot of educational content, and that's next week. We'll have them on sale until they sell out. Maybe we won't hit 36, but that's our goal. Uh, After Rioja, the week after, we're doing a natural wine segment. We've got all the wines on the website, and we're going to take on some very interesting topicality, skin contact whites, uh, wines that don't have any additional sulfur, and play into some chillable red categories. We've got some Spanish amphora and one of the great Italian producers, all natural. Just uh, man, this stuff is ridiculous. Foradori. So I'm really proud of the wine list. This is not your 25-year-old restaurant cheap bottles type of stuff, but there are some really good iterations that I approved for the store. I think you'll like these wines very much, and we'll be able to talk about what the hell is a natural wine and make some fun with them, and see some interesting things. Our Cab Franc and Merlot showcase on October 22nd. Some really great high-end wines being shown there. I just talked about this today. I really think Merlot's kind of back in gear and climbing up the charts. People still love some really great Cab Franc, so we're going to put some together. There's a couple of Merlot and Cab Franc blends in this show too. And then we go to the real Rhone Valley because a couple of weeks ago we did Rhone Wines of the World without any actual Rhone wines in that tasting. These are all Rhone wines and top iterations. And then another iteration of our new wines from Mexico to showcase and make sure you're staying up on what's happening in Mexico. And we'll have lots of special guests on November 12th. Speaking of wines from Mexico, perfect segue. I've had the Magoni producer on our Zooms in the past. This is a really fun find. This is a Sangiovese Cab blend. Mr. Magoni is like the Robert Mondavi of Baja. Everyone loves this guy. He is really helpful to a lot of the other farmers and a real jovial person. Everyone that comes in contact with him wants to support and buy his wines. So usually somebody contacts me. I see you have Casa Magoni. Do you ship to, some other state that no one is getting this wine outside of California? He doesn't make enough, and we get, I think I get 3 cases a year of this wine. So we're in Baja up here, just about an hour and a half south of Tijuana, and a great place to stay if you're going to go down there is Ensenada. Magoni, there's some facilities that are like great restaurants. Some facilities have amazing hotels attached to him. This guy's just a farmer, and he's got one of the most amazing trees to sit out underneath there. That thing is enormous. It's creates all this great shade, and that's his tasting room. Uh, really, just a hardworking farm guy, and makes some really nice wines with a lot of value to them. Um, Expressive, concentrated, and intense. Purple color with pinkish shades on the edge, medium intensity on the aromas, containing fruits of red fruits like strawberries, cherries, and raspberries. Hibiscus floral notes. When I'm looking for wines for our tasting today, I thought a lot about how powerful the wines would be. I was worried about that Beaujolais, and I was right to worry about it. It was just a little bit maybe too bold for the pairing. It's just a fun wine to drink, and pizza's fun, so that works. But it didn't really elevate the flavors of the pizza. I think this one has a chance because there's also Cab and Sangiovese blended together, and they do grow quite a bit of Italian grape varieties in Baja. Nebbiolo, Barbera, Sangiovese, and others. They're all down there, and they're usually blended in the most craziest way in Baja. They'll blend Tempranillo, they'll blend with Sangiovese and Syrah, and just ooh, does that work? And Zinfandel. Maybe let's put some Zinfandel in it. So really not playing by normal rules, but having fun. And the Sangiovese is going to give us a little bit of a raspberry, cherry, spicy tobacco, leather, chestnuts, the Cabernet, a little bit of cedar, cigar bucks, complexity. There's our tasting room. $22. The nose has got some really nice, there's a little bit of Perazine in there. I get that kind of a leafy olive. And then this wave of sun-drenched fruit. I like the red fruit comments, the raspberry, strawberry for sure. Cherry. Texture is outstanding. It's really pleasurable. Not harsh, not too hard. Just really like yummy. Let's drink this. I'm gonna test it with my pizza. Some unread chats. Sorry about that. I'm glad you like the nose, Tom, on the Magoni. Price is price is right. There's our chats.
I definitely see this one as a pizza wine, but more for Chicago style pizza than for, thinner slice, thinner crust pizza. It just has that, it's got the robust body, but it would go, like mushrooms, and it's really nice. It's beautiful wine.
Yeah, I
You,
think.
you always surprise me with the Mexican ones. It's
Yeah,
always,
I mean, there's some that are a little crazy, and what I love about them is they're a little avant-garde and kind of challenge you a little bit sometimes. But great weather, great winemaking. They're just really passionate about it, and then the prices are not always, but sometimes you'll see a bang in value. The wines from Mexico are not eh, quote unquote cheap.
yeah.
This is probably the best value that I have from Baja at 22.95. I don't think anything's priced below it, and that's another reason why I get this wine is because it still fights pretty hard. I think the next vintage will be a couple bucks more, and but it is it is delightful, and people tend to love it. And I with my pizza, it's pretty nice. Um, the there is the domination here of Cabernet is present. It definitely has a firm hand. The Sangiovese has some really nice edge to it and really plays well with the flavor profile and stuff. So I think it's a pretty damn good pairing. And I think it's a fun wine. Probably most people haven't tried this before, so just something fun and a little different. Okay, that's four down, and I'm still on my first slice of pizza, so I'm taking it easy. But we'll move straight into our next wine, number five. Back to Italy. Back to one of I show this wine every year on a Zoom. Why? Because there is not a harder working wine in Italy. This wine is at Chianti prices, but plays in a little bigger, more multi-dimensional universe. Property is in Tuscany. I've tasted it every year. This is the brand new 23. This will be my first time showing this wine. They're right outside of Chianti Classico. The property is where Leonardo da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa. The Tenuta Sette Ponte, the bridge with I think it's like seven arcs or something like that, and it's in the background of the Mona Lisa in the painting. It's owned by a very successful businessman, Antonio Moretti, original investor in Prada. He sits on boards of lots of different things. I think he owns a bank, and he has this estate for multi generations in his family. Uh, this field is gorgeous. I have been to the property. In fact, I got to tell you a little story tonight. This is the story I wanted to tell you because this guy got me in some trouble too. So back the years like 2004, and I was working for a big importer, Co-Brand, and we were importing this brand new to the portfolio, Tenuta Sette Ponte, and he knew I worked in Los Angeles, and I worked hard as I do for Co-Brand. I did well. We got some great distribution. Uh, I'm just going to get to the little final slide here about the wine, and I'll finish the story. But They call him Dr. Moretti, by the way. I think that's more of a formal name than he didn't get his doctorate degree in school, but they give him the title when he has lots of money and lots of accomplishments. Am I correct in saying that, Lisa? Okay. So the Italians they do things a little differently, but that's him and his two sons. And James Suckling, 94-point score. We're going to key in on the fact that this wine's built with Merlot, Cab, and Sangiovese. I think those are the varieties here. We're going to double check that here in a second. Beautiful property. So I go and visit him. I'm on my kind of my own time visiting Italy. Um, and I said I'd love to come see the winery. And he receives me. I sit down. I think it was with his mom. He's probably at that time it was in his maybe late 60s. Mom was like 90 and she made lunch. And we sat at the dinner table and I tasted through a bunch of wines. And he doesn't, everyone says he speaks English, but he almost refuses to because he doesn't need to. And so he had like an interpreter there and someone he could talk to in Italian. And I started asking some questions about what he does and things like that. And when I go to Italy, I think I wore a suit and like I told him I wanted to go to Prada, and he goes, "I'll make a phone call." And so they have a Prada outlet, and I got a VIP appointment to get in to this Prada outlet. And then when I get to the Prada outlet, the guy who received me, they knew I was coming. He's like, "Oh, Dr. Moretti wants you to go to his shoe store. He owns a shoe location too." And I go, "Oh, great." So I went there and I walk in and I look around. I really like the shoes. They're called Car Show. And it's a really nice men's shoe. They were very hip and I love the design. So I try on a pair and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna buy these right here. And the guy goes, "Oh no, you're Dr. Moretti's guest. He wants you to have the shoes. These are them. They're 20 years old. And they're built like they're fantastic." So I get back to Los Angeles, and the president of the company is a friend of mine that of Co-Brand is his daughter was going to school at UCLA. I welcomed her to Los Angeles. He thanked me, and he calls me all the time. How's things? All that stuff. He calls me as soon as I get back from Italy. "Oh, I heard you were in Tuscany and hanging out with Dr. Moretti." And I'm like, "Yes, I was." And he gave me a beautiful pair of shoes. He goes, "I know. He just told me you ordered 1,000 cases of wine for Los Angeles and that you're bringing in a bunch of SKUs that we don't even import." So be careful when an Italian offers you a free pair of shoes. That's it comes with some challenges. So it was it was an interesting moment in my career, but I still love my shoes. All right, so let's go into this wine that we were just tasting. We got the Crognolo. That's wine number 5. I want to go back to that slide again and taste it with you. 28.95, 94 points. Always between 94 and 97 points on this wine. It's the second wine of a wine called Oreno. And Oreno's the Trepicati 100-pointer, the top dog, and that sells for around $100. Brand new 23, just arrived. Let's see if it breaks down. 90 Sangiovese, 10 Merlot this time. Okay. It's way more Sangiovese than normal. It's definitely leans more towards a Chianti in style than previous iterations also. So should be damn good with the pizza, right? What do you think of that? I think it's pretty good.
It's not good. It's great, Ian. But you know, this is also a great wine for barbecue and so many things. And it also seems very age-worthy to me as well. Drinking a little young right now to my palate.
Yeah, there's just a little bit of that firmness there.
Yeah,
But it is delicious
it's
and
beautiful.
and banging with that pizza. Oh yeah, that is really good. Yeah, that is that long tail of acidity just kind of
Mm.
works its way. It's magic with the food. Mm. I did by the way on Monday try to go out and find a couple other pizza places, and I was trying to find out I was looking for who made the biggest pizza because I wanted to hold up a giant beautiful pizza. Um but there just wasn't a great selection, and I ended up at this little Italian place in the middle of nowhere. It had this reputation, and I sat down to eat dinner, and they brought me a glass of like 85-degree Chianti. And I was just like, oh, terrible. I hate when my red wines are hot. So I asked her to bring me a ice bucket, and I literally took my wine glass and stood it up in the ice bucket until it cooled down. But this one's really nailing it for me. I think I'd really enjoy this all night long. I think it's going to be another great iteration for Croniolo, and it did just arrive, so it makes about that's kind of makes sense to me. 23. This wine is in a lot of places. You're going to see it in all the top Italian restaurants for sure, and so you can find it around. Very few places match my price. So 28.95. Most usually it's around $34 in a retail store, and mm, probably around $75 on a little family Italian restaurant, and $100 in a fancy one. And everything the guy makes is nails. Just love the producer. He's hired a series of champion winemakers. He just doesn't want to ever make a mistake, and everything he puts his hands on turns to gold. So we finish with a California wine. We finish with Zinfandel. We had planned to finish with a different Zinfandel, but some strong orders came in the last week, and my shipment, which was due to arrive here on Friday, didn't make it. So we went up a few bucks to the Ridge Geyserville, and I have a pretty good stake in the 21 vintage. I believe in the vintage. I believe in the house. Let's see how this thing is doing. They had some pretty big staff changes at Ridge in the last couple of years. And I'm really hopeful that this wine starts to show its potential. It's 4 years old. It's been pretty youthful up until now, and I'm waiting for it to turn a corner. So let's see how it's doing. Ridge owns some amazing property and some of the nicest people ever. I wouldn't love Zinfandel if it wasn't for Ridge. They make quite a few different iterations. This is their Geyserville property. Geyserville has become a very hip little town now. Just outside of it's in basically like northern Dry Creek. Um, Up here, just maybe 10 minutes outside of Hillsburg. Um, And the property has got some really old vine material on it. Shauna, the Rosenblum family, is now in charge of the winemaking at the Geyserville location. They also have a second winery in Santa Cruz Mountains where they make Montebello. These vines are some of the most treasured in the Zinfandel world. And this property is so well built and so beautiful. And the vine material that they've got is outstanding. It's a fantastic place to go taste wine. And it's right down the street from my best friend Clay Morrison's winery. They're on the same road. This is Zinfandel, Carignan, Petit Syrah, and Alicante Bouschet. Ripe cranberry and cassis aromas, bramble fruit with cocoa and clove. Alicante Bouschet, little factoid, is one of those grapes that has both red skins and red flesh. It actually has red juice without skin contact. There's only a couple grape varieties that do that. And in the old days, it was involved in Zinfandel field blends. And there were a lot of other grape varieties too that could be in a Zin old, they call them all blacks, black fruit. And so this is Petit Syrah, definitely. Wine Enthusiast 94 points. Black pepper, blackberry jam, muscular, firmly tannic wine. Zinfandel is a tannic grape. And they always make claret style Zinfandel at Ridge. It's not that big, uh, super jammy, hyper ripe. The alcohol's here usually in the 13 to low 14s. Let me see what we got here. This one pushes 14.8, it says, so a little riper. Oh, that nose is crazy beautiful. Brambly, blackberry, blueberry. Lots of spice, maybe even some licorice. There's like, did I see something that said maple? I'm getting like, there's a little hotel up in Hillsburg. When you stay overnight, you wake up in the morning to the smell. They bake their bacon in maple syrup and brown sugar, and it is like bacon candy, and that's what I'm smelling. Mmm, showing pretty good. All right, its best days are ahead. This wine was pretty green and pretty firm for a while, and it's really gotten to a nice place here, really showing off the potential. And these ridge wines age beautifully. Just such a wonderful place. And if you're ever going to Sonoma, people ask me where they should go. I mean, I'll always say I assume you've been to Ridge because it's such a foundational property to appreciate the classics from. They've been doing it a long time at a very high level. And they take great care of visitors. This is 55 bucks and built for some time. Notice the word, it's Ridge Geyserville. That's what they call this wine. This wine does not carry a single grape varietal name on it. It is a Zinfandel based wine, but sometimes the percentage is below 75%. I think this one's 76, but let's see. It is 76 Zin. So they could say Zin. That's mouth-watering. It's like really delicious. When I first started, liking wine, I went to an event called ZAP up in San Francisco, Zinfandel Advocates and Producers. All the Zen people go there and show off their wines. Reggie's got the longest table because they make like 20 different Zinfandels, and they taste them all. And then you go to Bialy and you taste all of his, and each one's got a little signature character. Maybe it's from Napa, maybe it's from Sonoma, maybe it's from Paso, then all the Turleys. And 3 hours later, your teeth are purple, your fingers are blue, and you can barely, you know, pronounce things correctly. So you just stumble up the hill to one of the great restaurants. It's a great little trip. All right, you guys pick. Which one was your favorite with the pizza?
Well, with the pizza, I'd go with the Barbera as my favorite, Ian. But I will tell you that maybe I'm just a blue collar kind of guy, but all these wines are just great, and what I like about them is these are just wines that you could open up any night of the week, feel not guilty about opening up a bottle, enjoy them, and probably opine on all things metaphysical that you wanted to, and not feel like there was a hole in your wallet, right? I mean, they're just great wines. Love them. Great choices.
Thank you. It was fun to taste them all too. I think I agree that the Barbera is really such a underappreciated grape too. And just so much fun. But that Zinfandel was pretty damn good. And
That's what I was gonna say. The Zen really, really hit best. I really like that. Yeah,
awesome.
with the pizza, pepperoni pizza.
Cool.
Your friend Mark still has all my wine. I think he's planning a party at some point in time. That's what he tells me anyway. But if I were to count the bottles in my cellar, I would have more Ridge than anything else. I've been buying their wine for a long time. I've met Shauna. She's also a good friend of another friend of mine, and she's doing a great job there since she became the Geyserville wine maker. You should understand that the original wine properties in Cupertino, you know this. And if you're in the Bay Area, it's a great place to visit, to go up there. I actually picked grapes on Montebello Ridge in 1983 for the Montebello cab. That was probably the last time I could actually afford to buy it. Because the price is just silly. But when I go there, I tend to sample the Montebello, the older vintages and stuff, which is always incredible. I went to a dinner in the Dry Creek one a number of months ago as well. It was a beautiful dinner. They did a fabulous job. That's a great winery, historic and worth knowing from that standpoint. Um, Fabulous wines over the years. I have Geyservilles. My oldest is a 2015, and it's probably not quite ready yet, from that standpoint. So they age extremely well.
Yeah.
They really do.
A Montebello 74 is one of the California's most expensive wines.
Well, I had a bottle of that once that I bought in 1977 at the winery. I drank it by about 1982, and I regret that was way too soon. Yeah, the older they age incredibly well. They redid, this. They redid the Judgment of Paris, and the Ridge Montebello took first place when they redid it. So
It's a great wine, and
yeah.
74 vintage. I was just involved in an auction, and I buy some of my special wines for some of our special dinners at auction. And I was trying to get this. I thought the Ridge was gonna go on the cheap, and right at the last minute, some guy gavelled in. I was sitting at around $1,200 a bottle for the 74 Ridge.
Mm,
It ended up going for $3 grand.
$3 grand. Wow.
Yeah, so it was a pristine bottle of 74 Ridge Montebello.
Yeah.
I've never seen that bottle go for $3 grand before. It typically is around 15 to 1800, so I thought I was gonna get a
Wow.
little deal on it, but it went for $3,000. So
$1,000. That's amazing.
yeah,
I think the oldest, my wife and I did a vertical at once of, I think the oldest was I think we had a 79, and that was like 5 years ago, and it was just fantastic. It was just so complex.
yeah.
But I mean, it's what, $225 at release or 250, something like that. It's like, wow,
Ones are for
that's
sure.
a lot of money. That makes me feel guilty if I open a bottle of wine like that.
Oh well, I'll take the guilt away. You can open a bottle like that with me.
Yeah, okay. We'll do it.
Well, thank you guys for a lovely night, and I hope everyone's doing good. I hope to see you in the near term, and also plan on going with me on one of my trips. And now that you're a little closer, Tom, you join us. We're going to Ojai for a day trip on
I saw that. That's terrific. You know, when you did the Ojai Winery one night, I thought those wines were just terrific.
Yeah.
Does a very nice job with them. That'll be great.
Yep, and he's going to be there for us, and then
Yeah.
we're going to go up to a new property called Ojai Mountain at
Mm.
3,000 feet. It's a vineyard planted by Phil Katuri, and it's going to be a great day trip. And
Wow.
we got a trip to Napa in January, which is going for it. We've got a trip to Oregon in February, which is now available on the website. And then we're going to Sardinia in April, and Champagne later in the year, Champagne, France.
Mm.
So if you feel like doing a little something crazy, join us. Oh, I think we have New Zealand also out there in
Nice.
6. So
Yeah.
got some big
Hmm.
plans, and putting all these trips together. Napa's almost ready, Oregon's ready, and Champagne will or Sardinia will be ready in a couple of weeks.
Amazing.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks.
you.
Cheers. Ciao.
Cheers.
Go Dodgers.